my first wedding. This was the first one for my 20th year.
And you keep wearing both. You wear both. All right, so today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. The time is now 3 p.m. I'm going to call this council work session to order. First on the agenda is response to October 15th visitor comments, and it does not look like we have any for this week. So we'll go straight over into the visitor comments. So now it's time for the visitor comments. The visitor comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Please address your comments to the mayor and council members. City council will take all input into consideration. Please limit your share to 3 minutes or less and observant to Oregon open meeting laws. This isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Responses to visitor comments, if needed, will be published in the next city council regular session packet. Please provide your contact information on the sign-in sheet at the back of the room if staff needs to get a hold of you for any clarifying whatever questions. And then when you come up, please state your name for the record. So with that, we'll take the first public statement or public comment.
Howard Blumenthal. I have two quick things to talk about. I want to give you a quick recap on work party that we had at Lincoln Park over the weekend. The rain parted minutes before we started our work party at 1 o'clock. We had a total of 13 people come, and we gave about 30 hours worth of time to the park, pulling weeds and our ivy, blackberries, planted some more plants. Caroline on our own have put in a few more drones in the park, and just been working away in there. We also got the gravel for the next bench that we're going to have along the 5th Street right-of-way trail. So hopefully the city in the next little bit will pour that, and we'll get that bench in, and supposedly that's going to be the 100th bench from the Lions Club, I believe. So that's that. The other one I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is I really like the signs that you gave out for Halloween town parking. The problem is that you have a bunch of people up on top of the hill that decided that they could charge $20 to park in their yards. And so we had 2 or 3 houses that were parking people in the public right of way, 4 or 5 feet into the street, around the corners, and charging them $20 to park like that. And that's what we had the problem with the year before. We had people parking around the corners of the intersections in our neighborhood. And that's why I was so happy to see you say no event parking. I have no problem if these people want to park people in their driveway, but when you fill your hole on and you're parking people out into the street in the public right of way, the police were called and the cars were still there when I came back hours later into the intersection. Literally, they were around the corner in one spot. Another place, they parked their car, they had them parked within 2 feet of the fire hydrant on each side of it. And once again, half of that was in the public right of way. So I would like to see you guys take a little bit more proactive on thinking about that. Is there a way to control it? What's going on in the public right of ways for Halloween Town? They had a great deal, $20 versus $30 up at the other area. But once again, we're congesting the neighborhood, and that's why it was so nice that you guys put up signs in the neighborhood, or let people put up signs that said no event parking. So a few people really made it very difficult for the rest of the people in the neighborhood. All the people who are doing, they're really good people, they're good neighbors. I hate to say anything, but I just have a problem with people charging somebody to park in the public right away. So that's it. I guess I have 18 seconds. That's it. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Next public comment.
Right, Abraham. So you started by using a dead girl to help you get elected, and which was questionably ethical. And speaking of the dead girl, I'd like to see the documentation that you've been giving the money that you promised you would. So let's just see that. Or was that just one of your many lies? But now you've really gone to a new low, even for you, in that you put your name on the waterfront. And all of you said nothing about it either. So you've added your name to the placard on the waterfront and then had the audacity to say, oh, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. Somehow they forced me to put my name on it. Well, I'll be happy to chisel your name off of it. No problem if you don't want your name on it. And Brandon, you in particular, I'm really disappointed. You're supposed to be the history. When I called you a weasel before, this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. You should have been there saying, her name doesn't belong on the plaque. That's not history. And since we're speaking of plaques, I also noticed that there was a plaque for Joe Corsilia, not his father actually, that disappeared. I'd like to know where that went, because that was taken off of the waterfront. So yeah, that to me, that's a new low for this council, that you put Jennifer Massey's name on the plaque instead of Rick Scholl's, which we all know should be there. Finally, I'd also like to know how you and Jessica went to the school board and asking them not to sell the property along with your city administrator. That's not been a public decision. That's not been publicly discussed. It wasn't decided by the council. I don't see how you think that you have the authorization to go and even talk about that in representing the city when there's been no decision made by the council. You don't get to make those decisions or those discussions unless there's at least been a discussion and a vote by the council. Period. And of course, the money that you're going to spend, I'd like to know how you're going to make money off of that. That will not be a money-making project, period. But like that matters to you. Another one of many lies. But regardless, if you're going to ask the school board to spend money and be in a project, then you need to have a council decision and it needs to be voted on and it needs to be done in public. And you don't get to just decide on your two guys as show up on your own.
Other comments?
Pete Lopez. A comment from Bertrand Russell. The stupid man's report of what a clever man says is never accurate because he unconsciously translates what he hears into what he can understand. I bring that up into reference to the minutes of the last council meeting. I said something and it was somewhat translated. Points of essence that were important were missed. That's not the first time it's happened, and it's not happened just to me. It seems our recording of the minutes is less than accurate. It may be through stupidity or it may be on purpose, but anyway, it's happening. Next thing is we've started explaining to the present group decisions that were made or explanations that were made by the council of questions that comments to the visitors brought up on the meeting before. I looked at the agenda and I found no place when the council came together, publicly noticed, and had minutes of what they were going to answer the questions of the comments from the floor brought up. Either we're having somebody else make these up, or having illegal meetings, or there's nothing being recorded that's happened. And I think we better, again, as Brady just pointed out, there are procedures that should be followed and we're blatantly not following them. Thank you.
Next comment. Is there anybody online?
Yes, we have Adam. Just one moment. Go ahead, Adam.
Hello. Hello, Adam St. Pierre here.
We can hear you.
Hello, Adam. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello, Adam St. Pierre. Yeah, I just wanted to mention something quickly here. It's relevance. Recently, a few people have filed some complaints, mainly a DOJ complaint or something. And there's been a ruling and, the countless attacks against, Jennifer Massey is just ridiculous. It's somebody trying to prove their relevance. And so we have somebody who's so unscrupulous that they didn't get their way, that they're going to use the death of a teenage girl, uh, Sarah Zuber, to make a personal attack against the mayor. Just remember, this person has no proper being. He's done nothing positive for the community. All he's doing is trying to establish his own relevance. I appreciate the council. I appreciate, the city workers for trying to, you know, entertain the ideas of this cast of characters. But why can't we move forward and actually do something productive? Just remember, as these cast of characters continue to come up, it'll be 4, 5, 6 of them. They keep continuing to come up. They have nothing ever positive to say about anything. And they always make a personal attack, because when you don't have anything positive, you go to personal. So thank you, council.
Fails on it?
No one else is.
So that moves us over into discussion topics, which is number 2. We have quarterly reports from city departments, so that is finance and municipal court informational. Did anybody have any questions?
I looked through the report, Gloria, and I thought you did a really, thorough job. And I really appreciated your thoughts that you added about the tourism funds and related to questions that have been out there about that. And so I really appreciate you adding that part in there.
Did anybody else have anything to add about that? Councilor Hubbard, do you have anything? And Councilor Gunderson? No. Okay. So I also echo Council President Philton. I thought the report was fabulous. Thank you for putting together all the details that you always do when you're doing reporting. And a couple of things that I also had mentioned was the tourism fund. So the performance being strong. And then also what your notes were, and then also the utility fund. So it looks like they're on or under the 25% of the expenditures. So I think that was positive as well. So tight budget, we're doing well, but we're happy to have you, and you're a great value to this city. So thank you so much. Sunny, do you have anything? All right.
Thanks, Gloria.
Did we have anything on the municipal court? No. Good. Okay. I did not have anything either. Number 3, the review amendment to OTAC for the police station project. John, I believe you.
You get that page, thank you. Yeah, this is a amendment with OTAC, which is for our owner's representative services. This is the 5th amendment. The memo has a chronology of the events that have happened. Most of them have been time extensions, mostly because the mention of this project has taken so long and moving from site to site and changing. When we shifted over to the Gable Road site to focus on that, there was some expenditures related to that. Then there was another time extension related to that, and then coming back to the Columbia Boulevard site. Yeah. That reflects those expenditures and the work that was done, and the amendment is intended to be for the Columbia Boulevard site and throughout the duration of the project for their services. And it's within the project budget of the 12.6 million. It's already contemplated in that. Recommend you approve it.
Councilor Hubbard, do you have anything on that?
Well, I think, they're putting in more time. They're a contractor for the city that if we tell them to go do something, to go look at another site, it's gonna cost us more. So we spun our wheels on some of these sites. Gonna get that money back. They've done the work. And now they've got a solid site they're gonna work on, and this is the change order for it. So John says it's within our budget, so hopefully that works.
Anything? All right. All right, number 4, review request for leak adjustment at 2375 Columbia Boulevard. That means you again, John. It was a big leak.
Yeah, it was a big leak and the council sees leak adjustments when they're over $1,000. So and typically what we do is we are Lori, you want
So
put you on the spot there, but you're this closer than I do all the time, so.
we, the council, changed the process a little bit, several months ago, where you're not looking at all of the leak adjustments. The only ones that come before you are the ones that we feel are significant or outside the normal, standard policy leak adjustment. This one is, both. It's really substantial and it's outside the normal policy that what we do.
Bills are generally high.
We have 2 months showing because we only bill bi-monthly.
No, we do bill monthly.
Yeah.
We have always done 2 months. It's a standard, pretty much most any place will do 2 months. More than 2 months is outside of policy and you would see those. And I believe this one asked for a 3-month. Is that right, John? And also anytime that they're asking for a full leak adjustment, generally we charge them they have a cost share in that leak based on, so we do the calculation based on their average usage for over a year's time. And then we split that with them. And then, so this one is asking for the full leak adjustment where they're not cost sharing any of that. They're only paying what their average would be.
Does your system show any flags for such a increase in water all of a sudden, or?
When meters are read, there is a report that is run that will show excessive use, unusual usage. And the utility billing staff goes through those and will try to identify any that have, look like they've got a leak. That's done regularly and it's usually caught by utility staff, but not always. Sometimes, there's plenty of people that notice it on their bill. Their bill is higher than normal, but it usually takes a couple cycles, a couple bills before people really realize that their bill has gone up significantly. That's why we do the 2 months. And then that allows them time to get it fixed as well.
It just seems so substantial.
When I read through it, I mean, it looked like just some toilets were leaking, which is really odd for me for the bill to almost double for toilets leaking.
It's amazing how much your toilet can use when it's leaking.
It's weird to me also that maybe a maintenance man or something didn't catch it. This is an apartment building, so.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just saying as someone who manages, things like that. It's odd.
Was it leaking or running?
If it's like if that's their excuse is toilets, their management is terrible. Sorry.
Well, in the maintenance, I feel like that's something that could have been caught early on.
Possibly, but if you've got renters, a maintenance person wouldn't have necessarily had access to find the toilet that's running or leaking. And a renter may not report it.
And are they charging us for them hiring the company to come out and find these leaks? Because they did
No.
hire a company to come out and find the leaks versus
No.
like a maintenance person
Right.
finding the leaks.
Private side, it's all yours.
We do not pay for those.
Been that much of a leak though at $495 for the bill for. two different dates. Like, that's a really de minimis bill at a rate of $135 an hour. Couldn't have been a very sizable repair is what I'm getting at. Yeah. Gloria, back to this, do they typically, when we're doing these, assessments, is there usually a cost share that happens?
Usually, yes.
So
We're
why
asking for 10,000, the cost share would have been roughly 5,000.
Right.
Remembering it?
So if you wanna move that to work session action items or whatever.
Yeah. Anybody have any more questions on this one?
Just additional comment, there'll be another one of these coming the next meeting, because there's another,
The same company?
not a different company,
Oh.
but there's another similar type of situation with another big leak, so that's been fixed.
The repair on that one was really significant, so. Where this is just leaking toilets, theirs was.
So it says on the notes.
Bursting or something. Makes a lot more sense to me.
So,
Right.
Counselor Hubbard, it says on the bottom of the actual bill in the small writing on what actually happened. So it did say there's they used a sonic leak detection equipment, no leaks on the first one. And then they followed up. And then a failed fill valve in a toilet on the ground floor bathroom of unit 14 was inspections. When the toilet is shut off, the meter for the complex stops turning. So that's what it was.
Which I feel like a maintenance person could have caught.
It's really small writing.
Should have caught. That's what you pay your maintenance.
Do they have a maintenance person?
They should. It's an apartment building. With several tenants.
Maybe they're supposed to. All right, any other discussions on this one? Okay. We'll move on to number 5, request for donations for merchants toy and joy drive auction.
I'll take that if you want. This is something that we've done for several years. It's a neat toy and joy auction. City's been offering, I think they're $100.
$200 utility bill credits the last few years.
They're a popular item at the auction.
Any questions on that? All right, we're moving on to number 5, report from city administrator.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Yeah. Quick so far. So I guess I'll lead with, big news of last week was the Streets and Utility Project being awarded Project of the Year by the American Public Works Association. That's a really exciting achievement in their class of category, which was 5 million to 25 million. So being recognized as the top project in the state for transportation was great. Just weeks before, we got the Oregon Recreation Parks Association. We got some accolades from them as for design and construction. So that's something to be pretty good. Proud of. And why that matters. We're not done yet, right? We have future phases to do. We have grants to get, we have funding to secure, investors to lure, and having those kinds of accolades really resonates pretty proudly, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback around that. So one of those things is that on the 20th, the Board of Realtors wants us to come and do a presentation to talk about their part of their ongoing education, a presentation on development in the process. And so our development team is going to give a presentation on that. So to all the area realtors. The police station is moving along. We had a pre-application meeting. We're looking, we've been having weekly progress meetings, checking in when needed. The project right now, there's some duties on the seller to vacate the property before we can enter into the ground lease there, but we're still looking at an April, May construction window. And, that'll begin with the polishing of the buildings and preparing the site for the buildings.
And September 15th, 2027 move-in.
18, I think they're cautiously optimistic that it could be earlier than that on the 18-month.
You think since this is of public interest here, because this is a big expenditure, it's one that's been like, you know, a lot of the topic, can we on a monthly basis make sure that we're getting like the updated schedule and budget so that we're making sure we're tracking that the rest of the citizens can see as well?
Yeah, the budget amendment is in the packet.
Right, I see that, but
it's-
I'm
it's
just saying not for,
connected yet.
I'm just saying not for this one, but just monthly so that everybody can see where we're at.
Just a standing check-in, sure,
I would like that. The rest of the council, would you guys like that? So
maybe.
keeps us on track. Sure.
You could even give the report if you wanted to.
I,
Yes.
You're as the liaison for that project, so.
doing such a good job. I've just sat in the same ones that John has, and not all of them, but he missed last time, but we did have good roundtable of talking about details in the design and small things that save some money too. So, and it's been great interacting with the chief on that. You know, little things like they were gonna put all these EV chargers where the cop cars pull in. And I'm thinking, well, I've never seen an electric cop car yet. How many you plan on having? How many? Well, I'm here. So we moved them over around the way to, there'll still be EV chargers there, but
So you guys are still going through value engineering exercises?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Cause we moved the site of the building, moved it to the east. And so there was some issues of the power lines and then the sewer line, of course. I'm not sure exactly where we stand on the sewer with Public Works, but we're taking it through the site.
It's going through the site as proposed.
It is, okay, yeah. So they were talking, they wanted us to go down
17th, I believe.
15th, which means we're gonna have a whole road reconstruction, and the specifications for putting that sewer in the street will be totally different than going through the site, so.
We're gonna have to make really like sure that we have a lot of outreach for citizens and businesses around there and any disruptions that we're gonna have.
And I told them that we needed a elevation, something more than we're seeing here, been on the wall forever. And then it was my proposal that we would introduce some Columbia River basalt on the facade and sort of bring that in to just the Columbia Boulevard site. And instead of commercial bollards, maybe we could do some large rocks like we've got down here and that. So trying to soften it a little bit, and issues of landscaping and things. So it was great to, they're very receptive and gonna think we'll make it work. So.
Thank you. Nice report. On this.
Yeah, one of the things I learned early in my career in public service here is when we're building these facilities, that having the end users, of people that are going to be using the building, being part of the design process is very valuable. So they can, once they get in the building, that they can own some of the decisions that were made. There's ever shortcomings. Halloween Town, the wrap up, it was, this is a really wet one. It rained more weekends than we've had in the last few years, and it didn't seem to stop too many people from coming. It was pretty full down here. They got in, they got a lot of it put away, getting ready to put up the Christmas decor. We did get the notice of intent to renew out, and we'll see a presentation from Treadway. I had a meeting earlier today about that. They're gonna, at the December 3rd meeting, you'll see a presentation on that. Everything's just going along there. The next is Christmas ships. So you're gonna, November 19th, they're gonna start putting up all the holiday decor and get ready for the Christmas ships event. We're going to do it a little bit different in the plaza with decorating of the trees and not having those big heavy equipment, just making a mud pit out of it. They're going to plate everything and to get the high lifts up in the trees without disturbing the ground overly. it was pretty rough last year. It was really wet, so. Earlier today, our planning and engineers met with PGE to talk about the substation out at the mill. To understand roles and responsibilities. You know, what's different about it is that there's a $2.3 million grant that's assigned to the construction of the station, and then there's developing the pad for the station, and the city can get thing for that pad through that 2.3 million and some construction costs to help do all the environmental work around that. So we're a little atypical for how PG normally works, but it's going to kind of has to flow through a public entity, and there's the right agreements need to be in place, and we're getting there. So it's been a little slow, but I think it's a little bit closer. Tomorrow, this has been packed with meetings. We're going to meet with Mal Foster here to talk about a debrief on the wastewater treatment project proposal, the waterfront development options. No decisions, but we're just going to come up with some council recommendations on the best use of the resources that we have through this federal appropriation and how we move forward and what produces the best long-term outcomes for our community. You know, we're looking to the future. You'll have a menu of options to talk about at the meeting internal. Just let you know that that's still moving along. And next week, we're going to meet with Romano to kick off our exclusive negotiating period schedule. There's over the next 180 days, or since it was initiated, there's a 180-day period. There's some milestones in there. Most of them are going to come later in that 100-day period because there's studies that are being done right now. But the meeting next week will be just a kickoff meeting more than anything. Talk about that. We've uploaded volumes of information for their review. There's some questions coming back and forth. We're responding to that. And I did want to talk about a council liaison for the police station project. If there was an interest to have one for the Romano projects in that development as well. So there's more than just myself communicating information back to you all the time.
I would be interested in that.
Fabulous.
I would be interested in that.
I don't know if that needs to be a work session action item or if it's a
I think that we can come at like a consensus.
Huge time commitment there.
it's really not. So.
Okay.
Yeah, do you, you could vote on that tonight or talk about it tonight to appoint Counselor Gunderson?
Sounds like Counselor Sundin wants to
I
potentially.
didn't mean to steal that from you, Brandon. You have any?
Know about it too. I'm interested too. No,
I'll
can do it,
send mine out.
but I'm gonna be calling you and asking you for updates.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a point where a lot of this has become very public and
Yeah.
there'll be meetings and a lot of opportunity for input.
I'd be glad to do it too. So
That'll give you something to talk about in your.
That's all 5 of us now, isn't it? 4 of us.
It's like, oh, we haven't had our planning. commission
Absolutely.
meeting.
Yeah.
All right.
My next one was already brought up under visitor comment, but the mayor, Councilman Chilton, and I have attended the school board meeting to encourage them to reconsider selling the Ross Road property to allow us some time to work on it. And yeah.
No decisions have been made.
There's no decisions have been made. There's, there was a vision of Dahlgren Park when we did the swap of that property being named Dahlgren Park out there, and that, school district's property is right in the, surrounded by other public property, and we make it really challenging. Look a lot different.
What did you just say? So-
It would, if the school sold their portion, it would make it
Yes.
challenging to achieve that vision. of-
Well, yeah, because we have 3 acres, they have 10, and then we have like 13.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
their 10 is in the middle of
Yeah.
ours, and it can be a income generating revenue stream where we have, it's interesting to listen to people disparage, even the concept when we don't have a lot of revenue streams that we can tap into. And if you look at Medford and Newburgh and even the Expo Center is looking to put it into a sports complex, like it can generate revenue. So I don't think that, I mean, quite honestly, I think that we should be applauded for looking at additional ideas or bringing them forward to create revenue for the city, the costs.
And for things that increase the quality of life for the residents of the city of St. Helens. Like, let's not forget that part.
Yeah, we had people coming out in the hallways afterwards,
Thanking us.
just thanking us, and what a great idea, kind of.
Well, it's just getting it out, like in the public and talking about it and
It's a dream.
it's a
yeah.
pipe dream right
It's a
now,
pipe
but who
dream.
knows? It might come to fruition, but that's how all things happen is initial conversations. So. Sometimes people just will never be happy.
The Sand Island Campground, I'm still working with the operator to sit down and talk, have some time. We're still targeting. You know, it's a slow time of year, not much is gonna happen between now and the next season. But it's been really busy and I'm trying to get to it, but he's agreed to meet. We're gonna talk about things around public access and safety and all the other concerns that have been brought forward around the lease agreement.
Do we have so this is, I appreciate you keeping this on your report so that we keep track of it, because I have notes on it as well as our outstanding action items. Do we have a time frame that we can reasonably expect that we can have some answers with that? Because citizens do want to know. It's questions that are out there that they've asked us for updates on it, so. We have
September 3rd is probably soon. I'm gonna go for the second.
the second week in 17th. So December 17th, we should
We're gonna strive for
Part-
that. Yeah,
target a update. Okay.
being down of not having a Rachel and a Jenny here to help work some of these projects through has been really challenging. A lot of it falls back on me to move all these things.
You know, the thing is that we don't want to be unreasonable. So if you are not able to facilitate it, then we just need to know that. We don't expect you to be able to do everything. We just got to be able to know so that we can provide information to the citizens who are asking the questions.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll do my best. I attended the joint city council parks commission and glad I was there. There was a lot of concerns by the Parks Commission about being more involved in parks planning processes and the updating the master plan, whether through a full-on comprehensive overhaul or amending the plan. And I think that we will probably set the goal. A lot of times these plans are funded. We rely on the Department of Land Conservation and Development through their DGM program that they have consistently funded plan updates. Right now, they're working on a transportation system plan update for us that uses somebody else's money to help pay for these things, and but you don't get more than one in 1 year. So get in the queue for that and then work on whatever amendments they want to do and it fix it, get it up ready to update. That's achievable over the coming months here. So just to pivot a little bit here, last week I was at the ICMA International City Managers Association Conference and along with 5,200 other city managers from across the country. And it was really amazing, quite frankly, and how much commonality there is about things of, you know, employee burnout and wellness and these themes around artificial intelligence and how it's going to change the future of government. That's this universal staffing challenges. Some of the statistics they threw out that 52% of all public employees, municipal employees are considered leaving their positions the next couple of years. And only 7% of those are under 30. So there's this big gap of talent that's looking to walk out the door with not a lot of younger tenure that's coming up through the ranks. So yeah, the message was to hold on to your baby boomers. So if you can keep them around. So.
Send them my way, Tab.
Once they can still do it, but some of the key presentations, the keynotes, you know, there are a lot of more Harvard professors and just well-written authors and things, but one was based off a book called 13 Ways to Kill Your Community. And this this book is kind of a satire about what not to do, right? So, but when you're kind of turning it around, but when you're going through it, yes, economic development's important. Yes.
Did they write it
why
for
water
St.
conserves.
Couple chapters in there in St.
Yeah.
Helens.
and, supporting your seniors and
Oh, boy.
I'd be happy to share the 13 pillars there, but it's too much for this report.
Oh, geez.
Another one was a session on loving your enemies, and it's again a Harvard professor that wrote a book, and it's we live in this culture of contempt where if you're not for it, you're against it, and everything's bad, and how we need to get past that, and how we need to foster strength through our differences, and to just love your enemies and try to find the building happiness among that divide. That was just really good. Another one on presence. It was your physical presence, how you show up as government officials, dudes, and it's just essentially important as far as leadership and managing difficult conversations in your communities and building trust. And this was a 5-day conference, so there's
A lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff, and it's really a lot of conflict, working through conflict. They had some Supreme Court conflict mediators talking about how to become addressing conflict with empathy and neutrality, and aiming to build that community cohesion and collaboration. And then some of the takeaway in the programs that we might look at in the future that other communities do is these citizen academies. I don't think we have the resources to pull that off right now. But basically, we're doing them in our size of communities, but like a 6 to 8 week program, you take a cohort of about 20 people, and tonight you have if it's at night, usually they're at night. You do go to the police station one night, and then they'll do a public works night, you'll do an admin night, you'll do a finance night, and it helps pull back the onion a little bit about how things actually work, building trust in government, then build a talent pipeline for future boards and commission members, maybe even counselors. And yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you for supporting my attendance to that. That's what I got.
When we were at the school board meeting, one of the things that I thought was interesting is the youth presence that they have there.
Mhm.
And so they do have a high schooler that participates, and I just think that that's fabulous. And I think that goes along lines with the youth council that you were referring to, Counselor Sunday. It would be a shame if that's not something that we could look into, because it seems like there's I don't know, just food for thoughts for maybe 2026 goals or something. Just because it's failed in the past or had issues doesn't mean it has to. We're mindful of how we frame it, put it together.
There's other cities that do it really well too. I think, was it Happy Valley? Mayor of Happy Valley.
Happy Valley has a really good program.
Yeah. So I think it's just about having a really good plan and being able to execute it and having people committed to making it work. I think that's always been the struggle. Sounds like you're interested in it.
I thought it was great. I mean, I like that they're engaging, and sometimes the youth, especially that age, they have different types of candid insight that maybe us as adults should be listening to.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot in their thought process and how they address things and perceive things. And I don't know. Be good communication, right? Community outreach. All right, that was the end of your report?
Yeah, that's.
All right, so then we are going to adjourn and going to executive session. So following the conclusion of this council work session, executive session is scheduled to take place to discuss real labor negotiations under ORS 192-6602D, real property transactions under ORS 192-6602E, exempt records, confidential attorney-client privilege memo under ORS 192-6602F, and consult with counsel potential litigation under ORS 192-6602H. Representatives of the news media staff and other persons as approved shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the council chamber, and we are adjourned. Been on our time.